All is well. This is Chris with That Square Sports Podcast, and today we're doing draft grades for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, Bucks, I'm proud of you in a lot of ways. One, you actually made the playoffs last year without Tom Brady. Two, you actually resurrected Baker Mayfield's career. And three, on FanDuel, thank you, Chris Godwin and Michael freaking Evans. Y'all were some dogs. Let's talk about the draft. Let's dive in. So here's how I'm pretty much going to do the grade. It's going to be versus what you drafted versus what I think you needed. Now, they gave you a B plus to NFL Network and ESPN, so I'm going to see where they got that idea from. Now, what do I think that you guys needed? Obviously, clearly, you took care of the quarterback position. You still got Kyle Trask on the roster, if I'm not mistaken. But what I think the Buccaneers needed is receiver, offensive line again, D-line for sure, defensive line for sure, and defensive back. Those are the four things that I think you guys needed. Once again, it was wide receiver, offensive line, defensive line, edge rusher, really more so edge rusher, and of course defensive back, safety, corner. It varies. I'm fine with either or. Honorable mention, of course, in this draft, if you guys feel the need to go back and forth with me on it, running back. I don't know why, but I feel like if you guys had a three-headed monster at running back, you guys would be pretty effective because you guys are really good running the ball, believe it or not, more than people expected. But let's dive into it. Obviously, right away, you guys take care of the whole offensive line thing with Graham Barton, who is exceptionally well. He's a guy that plays the 1 through the 5 all the way through, center, guard, tackle, both ways. I think that this is a steal pick. Believe it or not, I honestly thought that he was going to go off the board a lot sooner, but to get him at 26, it's kind of like, you know what, he's the best player on the board. I understand what we need, but we've got to get this one taken care of, and why not? And this is kind of a fair pick. Why not? This is an A for me. Now, let's talk about it. Chris Braswell, who put his hand in the dirt at Alabama, he is also the kin to my boy Dallas Turner on the other side. And the only reason why I say kin is because they family. When it comes to Alabama, it's a brotherhood. Somehow, some way, when Nick Saban is left, it's going to be the defensive backs and the linebackers. That is what he's really good at. Edge rushers, he's kind of hit or miss. I'm not going to lie on that. But I will say the past few years, Will Anderson, Dallas Turner, and Chris Braswell all seem to have pretty bright futures in the NFL. That's just me. I know that 2 of them were drafted this year. I really like the way they all 3 played at Alabama. And even honorable mention, Drew Sanders, who ended up going to Arkansas, but still exceptionally well at Alabama, I'm not going to lie. Now, with that being said, adding Braswell to your all defensive line, you're getting this out of him. Pretty much a great edge rusher and a guy that can cover and play linebacker as well. Kind of in that 3-4 setting if you really want to use him that way. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think that this is a great pick. So these are 2 top picks. They're definitely A pluses. Braswell and Barton, both A's. I'm cool with that. And then you do what I also asked you to do, is get a defensive back. Tyreek Smith. Okay. Obviously, you've been in the same office as me, Tampa Bay. You're spying on me because I actually like these picks. I'm in love with these 3 picks. I'm out of the gate. Really, to be honest with you, I don't see a bad pick for the next 2 picks also as well. But I want to dive into Mr. Smith as well. Ball hawk, can get it out the air, can also play man, play press. Zone, obviously, I feel like every corner knows how to play zone, or the safety knows how to play zone in this day and age. It's not really a found skill anymore. It's kind of what they're taught playing 7-on-7 football now. I think I'm more impressed with the man coverage, if anything. If you could be a human shadow, that kind of really is what gets me to say, "Ow, I like this a lot." So he doesn't get beat a lot, doesn't get tested a lot because obviously he tests them. So I really like Smith there. Jalen McMillan, wide receiver. Now, a lot of people don't give roses to Chris Godwin because he's not seen as the elite receiver as Mike Evans is. I will say this about Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin is a great receiver. And the reason why I'm talking about Chris Godwin, we'll get to the point of where this is all going in the long run. But Chris Godwin is a great receiver in the possession ways. And the thing that I like about this pick with Jalen McMillan is a great threat downfield, like Mike Evans. A little bit shorter, but a great threat. Here's my thing towards this as well. McMillan needs to play with somebody who has a strong arm and you can throw it up. Obviously, clearly, you've got that with Mike Evans. I can see McMillan on the outside, Chris Godwin in the middle of the field. Do you guys get the vision here, Tampa Bay? Do you see where I'm going with this? You got 3 receivers that can just line it up and go. Pretty much, in short, this is a steal draft pick, especially at 92 in the 3rd round. I honestly thought McMillan was going to go in the 2nd round. I really believed that. I thought that Buffalo was going to get him. But I'm so proud that you guys did in a lot of ways because I think that Baker Mayfield could really resurrect his career with a lot of weapons around him. And I really think McMillan knows how to create space, knows how to be the deep threat, knows how to be across the field if he needs to be in the slot, anything like that. He just really knows how to play. It's just simple as that. And it's overshadowed by the fact that Rome Odunze was the #1 receiver at Washington. But I will give roses where roses is truthfully given. McMillan was also that dude too on the field. Now, Bucky Irving out of the University of Oregon, I ain't gonna lie. When I say get a running back, I meant like, every 3rd down type player. You guys went and got a skilled, freaking trained Swiss Army knife type running back. And I ain't mad at that at all. I said it was an honorable mention, and I shall honor this mention very well by saying, great job, Tampa. Dude, this guy, literally, Bucky is going to be an electrifying piece to your offense. Teaming him up with Barber, whoever's going to stay, Jones, Barber, whoever's going to stay at running back, that rotation, I really love that there. And you don't have to, the crazy thing about it is, you don't have to really utilize him in the beginning of the season. He could be that back that's known as what I like to call after week 8 backs, stuff like that, where you start to really get in the depth of your roster. Kind of just let the game come to him. You don't have to utilize him right away. That's what I meant to say earlier about drafting those honorable mentions. So that's what I do like. So far, you've pretty much covered what I said. Offensive line, defensive line, running back, and wide receiver, and of course defensive back. So, pretty much I'm going to just go through the list just to make sure. Elijah Killen out of the University of El Paso, decent offensive guard, not too terrible, more so of a depth pick. And then of course Delvin Cup out of Washington. He's your average tight end blocker more so than anything. He's just an extra set, pretty much an extra guy on the outside. He can occasionally catch it, goal line, maybe 20 yards out type player. He's got the size to, be something of something. But let's just keep it a buck. I'm going to be honest with you. The ceiling is what I said. That is what it is with me. Now, as always, these players can always pan out to be freaking Hall of Famers, and I can be dead wrong. But from what I saw on the tape, that's kind of what it is. Now, let's talk about it. How did you guys fare? They gave you guys a B+. I'm not going to lie. You guys hit the nail on everything that I thought that you needed to do in this draft. So why not? I'm going to give you guys an A right away. Now, do I like every single pick? Obviously, you could tell I was oozing and ahhing over every single thing that I was describing for these picks. So yes, another A right there. Then finally, at 3rd, the only blemish that I have for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is the tight end position. But, you covered literally everything else. So why not? I got to give you guys an A. Tampa Bay, I'm proud of y'all. I think you guys are up there with the Pittsburghs and the Phillies in this entire draft. You've done what you needed to do to succeed and become a better team. I think the NFC South is in trouble with you guys. Well, you might defer if you watch my Saints video, but that's just me keeping it a buck with you. You ain't got to worry about Atlanta or Carolina, though, I tell you that. With that being said, Tampa Bay fans, let me know if you feel me. If you catch me in St. Pete, what up, though? If not, Clearwater. I'm also cool with that, too. Peace.